Okay, hi ladies, how are you? Nice seeing you. Today's topic is a bit sensitive. We're talking about Tzniut, we're talking about modesty. So I'm talking out of love to everybody. God forbid, we're not judging anybody, right? And just because, like you mentioned today, Elul is coming up and Rosh Hashanah, and we want to be granted L'chaim Tovim. We want to take something upon ourselves, something that sometimes we're not so careful about. And okay, so this is what we're talking about. There was this couple that made Chazara B'Tshuva. They Baruch Hashem had them married to, you know, understand what Judaism is, and they didn't have the same path, both of them. You know, everyone had his own level and has his own progress and everything. And but Baruch Hashem, they were in Tshuva already for the past 8 years. And when the kids started yeshiva, they wanted to bring friends over, but felt embarrassed because their mother, they were doing all the mitzvot with adornity, everything was fine, Shabbat, kashrut, everything, but she didn't want to take upon herself covering hair, and it was very hard for her. And her husband is like, "Come on, I don't understand you. Isn't Shabbat much more difficult? How many laws we have on Shabbat? Right? You cannot separate, you cannot cook, you cannot go in the car, you cannot do your laundry, you cannot. And this you're okay with, okay? Or kashrut, you're so limited, you're not allowed to eat everywhere you used to, you're not allowed to buy and eat anytime you want and everything. And other laws and other restrictions and all the mitzvot and everything. Why covering hair, you know, it's such a big deal for you?" Mm-hmm. And she told him, "You don't understand. I'm a woman, and as a woman, it's very hard for me to cover my hair." And he couldn't understand that, and they had fights about this all the time, arguments. So there was this time that he had to go to Israel, and he asked his rabbi, "What should I do? Who should I consult with? Who should I talk to?" He told him, "Go to Rav Shlomo Zalman Auerbach, Zatzal, he already passed away. Talk to him." So he went to him, and he tells him, "What should I do, Rabbi? And we already married for 20 years. Everything is good. Our relationship is great. The kids, everything is fine. But my wife doesn't want to take upon herself covering hair since we made Chazara B'Tshuva." So the rabbi, he puts his hand on the man's hand, and in the other hand he taps his shoulder and he tells him, "You have to understand, it's so hard for a woman to cover her hair. Is like, oh, it's her personality. You cannot take it away for her. You have to understand." And he keeps trying, but Rabbi, isn't that a great mitzvah? You should tell me. I should." And he tells him, "You have to understand, it's the most difficult mitzvah for a woman, and just be patient and understand her, and don't be pushy." And so he didn't understand why the rabbi is so easy with this. He went home, and his wife is, no, what did the rabbi say? He didn't say anything. "Well, come on, tell me, what did the rabbi say?" So he tells him, "Well, the rabbi said that I should understand you, that it's a hard mitzvah, and it's not easy for you." And she's like, "Your rabbi is such a big rabbi. At least somebody understands me." This was Thursday. The next day was already Friday. He was shocked when he came from shul, and his wife was covering her hair, and for lighting candles, and she didn't take it off afterwards. Wow. She didn't take it off afterwards. She stayed with it. She was okay with this. Somebody understood her. Somebody told her, "You're right." Okay? Why covering hair is the most difficult mitzvah for a woman, in a way. Some women, why? People that make Chazara B'Tshuva take upon themselves so much restrictions, so much mitzvot, they limit themselves so much. You can say, okay, they found out the truth, so they're happy doing mitzvot, fine. But still, or keeping mitzvah of Shabbat, as we said, or tefillin, or praying, or doing all kind of stuff, would not be that hard for a man as putting on a kippah. Why? Because this already he has to deal with his friends, how they react to it. The society. It's so hard for us when people have a say, and people say all kind of stuff. People judge, people, and it's hard for somebody to take upon himself a kippah just because of what other people will say. And if it's so hard for men, it's definitely hard for women, because the essence of a woman is her body, her beauty, her hair, and it's so hard. So they say that at Tzniut, it teaches the inner part of the person, okay? Because a person that makes tshuva, or a person that is religious, what does he say? What does he represent? He says that the inside, the qualities that he works on himself is much stronger than the outside of him. And I'll come back to it, but this is the beauty of the Tzniut. Again, the Tzniut comes when a person limits himself, and we will come back to it later on. There is a very strong incident that speaks in Parashat Naso, Sefer Bamidbar, about parasha of Isha Sota. And here, this is basically where we learn from the mitzvah of covering hair. A woman that her husband suspects that she was a very close relationship with another man. She was alone with him, and he already warned her. Okay, and again she did that thing. She was alone with him. Whatever she did at that, okay. So if she confesses, so nothing happens. They should divorce. And if she, only in a case when the husband is not sure whether she did it or not, after warning her, after this, after that, this is when he brings her to the Kohen Gadol. And over there, the Kohen tries to explain her, listen, there's all kind of people that can influence on you. They can, the society, friends, better. Sometimes people drink, sometimes people do all kind of stupid stuff. It happens, just confess. And if she doesn't, so this is when it says that the Kohen, he uncovers her hair. Why to humiliate her? And for her, it's the biggest humiliation when the Kohen uncovers her hair. And then she drinks this bitter water that, tells if she was really loyal to her husband or not. Okay? So, again, when a woman is not careful about tzniut, about modesty, when she declares that she doesn't care about this, where her outside is more important to her than the inside, okay? This is when, if tzniut is not important to you, okay, this is when the Kohen uncovers her hair. For her, it's the biggest humiliation. Now, when a woman, when it's found to know with this water that she was loyal to her husband, all of a sudden she gets so much rewards, it says. If she was barren, she was not able to conceive, to have children, she'll have children. If she used to have very hard labors, now she's going to have easy labors. If she used to, whatever, now they're blessing her, blessing her, blessing her, blessing her. And this is because she, now think about this. If a woman from her own will covers her hair without all these things, think about the reward that Hashem gives her. Think about all the how she's respected, not only by people around her, by her husband, by Hashem. I want to tell you, there was, it's written in the Gemara, there was a Rav Ashi that told to his students that tomorrow, the next day, we're going to learn about our friend Menashe. Menashe was a wicked king in Yehuda that made terrible, terrible things. He worshipped idols, he did all kind of crazy stuff. And it says that night he dreamed of this Menashe. King Menashe comes and tells him, "You tell me, my friend, our friend Menashe, you making fun of me? I'm not your friend. You know who I am?" He was a king. He was a dynasty of. It was a son of Chizkiyahu. So he asks him, "Let me ask you a question. You think you're so important? You're a rabbi. You're talking to me like I'm not an important person. I'll ask you halacha. Where from do you usually slice your bread? Where's the first place that you slice the bread from? You have a whole loaf of bread. Where is the first place?" He didn't know, the rabbi. He tells him, "Let me teach you. From the place that it was first baked and is the most baked over there, this is where you start. This is where you start slicing. This is where you say the bracha on." This is what he answered. What's the idea of this thing? He said, "You people, you so many generations after us. Our first generations, we were most baked. You late generations, you're half baked. You don't know anything. You think you know, but we know much more."
Yes.
If you used to live in my time," he says, you make fun of me that I worshipped idols. In our time, there was this big evil inclination to worship idols. And you cannot understand today what is that evil inclination, because you don't have this evil inclination today. The rabbis, they removed this evil inclination. You don't understand what it was. But it was so strong that people, when this evil inclination comes into the person and tells him, "Go to the house of worship," people would go so fast. They couldn't stop themselves. They would run to this house of worship. Now, if you would live in my time, he says, you would pick up your garments, okay, and run quickly to that house of worship.
That's unbelievable.
What does it mean? Now, people in those days were having purposely long garments. Why? To delay this run to the house of worship.
Wow.
Because they used to have such long garments, okay? So they would stumble into it, they will roll over, they will fall. They didn't mind to break a bone, God forbid, to break the head, to break a hand, a leg or something, but to delay this idol worshipping. They couldn't do anything about this. This was the only way for them to delay this sin. If you would live in my generation, he said, you would pick up your garments and quickly run to worship idols. This is something that Menashe tells Rav Ashi. So the only way for us to fight against Tzniut is to put fences. That's the only way. That's the only thing that you could do. And these fences, okay, these fences are very, very important. Every generation will have its own Yetzer Hara, and that's what we do. Now, I mentioned Menashe. Menashe's father was Chizkiyahu HaMelech. Chizkiyahu was such a righteous man, nothing to compare to his father. Menashe HaMelech, they said about him, that in his generation, there was no one, okay, that didn't know laws. They knew the most hardest laws of Tumah and Tahara, even small kids, they knew all the laws. that their generation was so wise. They knew stuff because the king was making sure that they all learned, that they know. He was a great righteous man, this Chizkiyahu Melech. One day, the Navi, the prophet Yeshayahu, comes to him and he tells him, "Met ata velo tichya, you're going to die. Hashem is going to punish you. Ba'olam hazeh ve'ba'olam haba, in the next world as well." Why? Because he didn't get married. He saw in his prophecy, Chizkiyahu himself was very, very tzaddik, righteous, that his children are not going to be righteous. He didn't want to bring not righteous children to the world. So Yeshayahu said, "You're going to die." חזקיהו אומר לו, כלה נבוכה וצא, okay, I'll pray, I'll do tshuva, and Hashem will forgive me. And Hashem really forgave me. So just one thing he asked him from Yeshayahu, Chizkiyahu, please tell me, please, I want to get a sign from Hashem that Hashem accepted my tshuva. And Yeshayahu told him the sign will be that the sun would not set. For 8 hours the sun is in the same position, doesn't set. So there was this king in Babylon, Baladan, Ben Baladan, whatever his name was, and he went to sleep. He gets up and he still sees that there, and he doesn't understand. He got mixed up with the hours. He was so upset at his servants, and they said, "No, it's not our fault. It's because of King Chizkiyahu. Hashem made him a miracle." So, because he admired so much the fact that the sun never stopped before. It's such a great miracle, so he sends him a lot of gifts. When Chizkiyahu gets these messengers of the king and he saw so much gifts, he wanted to honor the name of Hashem even more. You know what he did? He took those messengers and he showed them all the treasures in the holy temple. He showed them the menorah, he showed them the Aron, he showed them. And it says that he brought them to Kodesh HaKodeshim, the Holy of Holiest, and he showed them the Kruvim inside, Aron HaBrit, special Sefer Torah that was there. Hashem was very upset at him. Why Hashem was upset at him? It says that the prophet Yeshayahu comes to him and he tells him, you know, all whatever you show, your children, your grandchildren, everybody will be slaves into the Babylonians. Why? Why such a big punishment to Chizkiyahu that just wanted to make Hashem's name even bigger? He wanted to show the Gentiles how Israel are so important, how they're so respected, how they're rich. Look at our holy temple, how important it is. That's what he wanted to do. And Hashem got upset at him. Because important things, you keep them covered. You don't show off important stuff. And in Kodesh HaKodeshim, in the Kruvim show the love between Hashem and us. And you don't expose it to people. The Kohen Gadol goes there once a year only. Only Kohen Gadol. Once a year on Yom Kippur. How come you dare and show it to Gentiles, to other people? And so he got punished that Bemet, you know, his children, his generation later, they became slaves in Babylon. So, because important stuff to you, you don't reveal it. Do people go outside and reveal how much money they have in their bank account? Never! You can talk, you can brag about this, you can brag about that, but you never tell them, oh, I have $2 million in my bank account. You don't say these things. And if you have a big amount of cash with you, you try to cover it so people won't know. Because if people know, everybody knows that you have, I don't know, $5,000 on cash in your hands, somebody is going to come just and take it away from you. Because things that are very dear to you, you don't expose them. You don't tell about them. And our house, the Jewish house, it's like Bet HaMikdash. It's like the Holy Temple. It says, Ish v'isha shezachu shechina b'neim. Whenever there's a good relationship between husband and wife, Hashem is with them. When we go and expose, okay, let ourselves, reveal ourselves to other people, except, husband, to other people, you're ruining the relationship,
the
intimacy. You put something in between that can damage, that is not good. It says that it says that the most important thing in Judaism is the neshama, is our soul. And who carries the soul, the Jewish soul? Usually the mother. When a woman gets pregnant, okay, so the father, he gives the essence, the body to the child, but the mother, she puts the neshama, the soul inside. We know that if the father is Kohen or Levi, so the child is going to be Kohen or Levi. It goes to the father. But Judaism, it's from the mother. And also they say that because the woman is the one that carries the baby, usually when the baby learns Torah during the time of pregnancy, when it's hidden, when nobody sees, this is the time that he gets the most of his knowledge, and this will be a potential to whatever he will be able to achieve as he's going to be Bezat Hashem to live in this world. And so not only the body of the woman should be covered, also her hair. Why? Because the hair, usually they're empty. If you take a hair and you put it under a microscope, it's empty. There's nothing there. It goes, though, into the scalp and into where the brain is usually. The brain, people think, okay? The machshava, the thought of a person, okay? It's through the brain. And this thing, the place where the Shekhinah is, the brain of a person, this is something that needs to be covered. When Chizkiyahu showed all these treasures to everyone, Hashem took away from him everything, because at the time of war, the enemies do not want to come and harm, God forbid, the hand, the arm. They aim into the heart. Okay, the essence of the Judaism. That's what they want, and the essence of Judaism is the cell, father, mother, baby. And the cell needs to be protected. Okay, so let me give you an example how strong it is, the influence of the mother on the child. It speaks in Sefer Bamidbar about this man that started to curse Hashem, lo alenu. And they say that they had to check his mother, because Shem Imo, the name of his mother was Shlomit Badivri. Who was Shlomit Badivri? Shlomit says shalom to everyone, speaks to everyone, okay? And they say probably there was a pugam, there was a blemish, there was a problem, you know, in the time that she was conceived, and we know there was a problem there. And so his neshama became not good, and this is the reason that he started to, curse and to be negative and to speak harsh, because it so much depends the influence of the mother on the baby. There was this man that there was this woman that came once to a Rebbitzin, and she told her that it's so hard for her with covering hair because she's going to start working in the city now. And all her friends, they're not coming with a mitpachat, with a tichel, with covering hair. Either they're not covered at all, or they're coming with long wigs, so nobody will realize that their hair is covered. And she asks what to do, because she doesn't feel comfortable. And the Rabbanit told her something interesting. She told her that once she was waiting in a bus stop, and long line, people waiting, it's hot, one bus comes and passes through and doesn't even stop because it was full. People grow impatient there. Second bus comes, and then all of a sudden a man comes from behind the line, okay, cuts everybody, and goes first. And the people start, getting upset. Hello, we're waiting. There's a line. Oh, what are you doing? This, and he says, and he tells him, I have. I'm important man. I'm important man. I have my clothing. You see my uniform. I'm working in the city. I'm entitled to go in. And what's so important? So why are you entitled? Later on, they found to know that he works in the sanitary department of the, not something special at all. But when people wear uniform, they feel that they're important. They feel that they do something special. They do something good. That they're entitled. They're worthy, or whatever. Imagine us, Jewish women, that we're kind of representatives of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, okay, in this world. How you should feel, walking around, people look at you, people admire you. You don't even realize that, when you walk, when you talk, when you do anything, when you shop, people look at you and you say, oh, Jewish people, I want to be like them. They're honest. They have dignity. They know what they're doing. They're smart. They're true. They have good qualities. They whatever. And so, Rav Kroon, he has a very strong story in one of his books. Time of World War II, there was this girl by the name Esther Cohen, lived in Germany.
Esther who?
Cohen, lived in Germany, and one of their, before all the problems started over there, one of their Gentile neighbors comes into their house, into their apartment, and she tells them, for the next several days, just disappear, because I heard there's going to be a pogrom. They start all kind of things against Jews. Just get away from here. So her parents quickly left, and she was a teacher, and she had all the books at home, and she couldn't really leave. She had to finish her assignment, so she stayed a few more hours. And then she starts hearing some commotion outside, and she says, okay, now I have to go. I cannot stay here anymore. I have to go. So people already told her in the past that she looks like Ari. She looks like a German. And so now, how to make this, how to make her look even more Gentile. So she takes out the skirt, the shirt out of the skirt. She releases her hair to make it loose, opens some buttons, whatever. And then before she leaves the house, she looks at her and she's like, buttons. Oh, even this I cannot do. She closed back the buttons, and she looked. She saw that she looks fine. She went outside. Baruch Hashem, she was able to go to the other part of the city. No harm. Everything was okay. She comes to the house of her grandmother from in the other side of the city, and they were so happy to see her. And her mother is like, "So what's happening outside there? How was it?" And this, and she tells her that everything was okay. I was trying to look Goyish, not Jewish, and I opened this and I opened that, but then I decided I can't, and I closed it back. And her mother tells her, open please your shirt. I want to see what's underneath. Underneath she had a necklace, Magen David necklace, that if it would stay open, they would see that she's Jewish, and they would, God forbid, harm her. So the fact that she said that she cannot go like that, it really saved her life, because this is, she couldn't even do that because it's not Jewish to open yourself and go like that. So this is something that really helped her out. So how do we have so many examples of Jewish heroic women that from the Bible, from our sources that brought Shechina, that were so careful about Tzniut. Speaks about Ruth HaMoaviyah. Ruth HaMoaviyah, if I read you the Midrash, you will be shocked. when she had to go to search for some bundles of wheat to bring some food home, she was so careful with tzniut, with modesty. She never walked with other people. She worked by herself. She, the way that she bent to pick up the bundles of the wheat. You know, everybody, all the other women used to speak with the guys there, you know, to find favor. So maybe they would give them some more. Maybe they'll you know, give her some. She never spoke with all these people. The way that she used to bend, the way that, so much, she was so careful that she drew the attention of Boaz. Boaz was an old man. Why should he care about this strange woman that he doesn't know who she is and where she's coming from? Yeah, they started to inquire about her. Why? Because she was so different than all the others. And they say in the Midrash that the workers, the boys, they didn't even know all this time that she comes and goes. She didn't know if she's a mute girl or not. She never spoke with strangers, never spoke to find favor, to you know, just have fun or something. And this woman that she was so modest, okay, this is the one that King David came out of her, Mashiach came out of her. This is when somebody is bringing the presence of Hashem, the Shekhinah. Esther Malka, okay, was bringing, she was entitled, Esther, to wear whatever she wants. She was a queen of a non-Jewish, jolly kind of a king that wants just to have fun and makes parties all the time. Why not? You know, she can join these parties and make, but she wasn't. She cared so much about, they say that when these messengers of the king were searching for beautiful women, she was hiding for 4 years. From the 3rd year to his kingdom to the 7th year of his kingdom, she was hiding. So she never came out, never went outside, so people won't catch her, won't take her to the palace of the king, to the king's palace. This is when, after a while, they just found her hiding and they took her to the palace. Even there, she didn't ask for all those perfumes and all this makeup and all this stuff that they were offering to these ladies. And she brought salvation to Am Yisrael. Another example, Rachel Imenu. We know that, okay, it says, בזכר צניעות שהיה ברחל, זכתה ויצא ממנה שאול ואסתר. מה זה הצניעות? Where do we see that Rachel was צנועה? She was covering herself, she was covering her head. Where do we see that Rachel was צנועה? So go back to whatever I started to say. What is tzniut? Tzniut is not to emphasize your outside, and she was a beautiful woman. Not to emphasize the outside, to emphasize the inside, the inner part of you, the inner qualities of you. When she saw that her sister will be humiliated, she will be hurt, she said, I don't want her to get hurt. And even though she put herself, her life, and everything in risk, that she won't get married to Yaakov Avinu and God forbid maybe marry Esau, okay, not to hurt her sister, okay, she gave her the signs. This is tzniut, when you work on your inner qualities, and this becomes more important to you than the outside. Okay, Rachel, and so these are some examples of women who did bring Shekhinah. Biggest examples that you know is Kimchit. Kimchit was this woman that was married to Kohen, and 7 of her boys became Kohanim Gedolim in Bet HaMikdash. Not every woman has this merit that her children are going to serve in the Holy Temple. And this is because they say she testified that the walls of her house never saw the way that she braids her hair or the way that she takes a shower or whatever. It's a level. But because you see the reward, the children that comes out of a woman that wears tsanua, you know, It's beautiful. And who doesn't want good children? Who doesn't want good relationship between her and her husband? Who doesn't want Hashem to respect her? Okay, and so
think
on.
of that, Rabbi.
Huh?
I always think of this. You know, I wear a hat at home, I pin it. I don't know how it disappears.
What? The pin disappears?
My hat.
Oh.
I pin it by purposely. I don't know. I don't know why.
So find something that will be stronger on you, something, you know. Yes, you have to shop. If something is important to a person, he's going to make the effort to take care of that. Let's say you have to go to a wedding.
Okay.
So one dress is not enough to be hanged on your closet. You need more because, you know, you go to this event, you go to that event, and for something that is important to you, you go and shop around.
Especially.
And so don't stay with one head covering, with one piece. Go and find what stays stronger on your head, what is convenient also, because it's also important you stay with this during the day. You want something convenient, not something that will cause you headaches or will be too tight. So something that will be comfortable, but shop around, have a variety of stuff so that, you know, you can change colors according to your clothing. You have guests coming, or somebody's coming, or your husband, even if he's coming, he's also, you know, you supposed to look nice for your husband. So if it's important to you, you would do it. If people do not wear tzanua, this is when they take away the Shekhinah. They can remove, they can chase away the Shekhinah. And this we saw that happened in the time of the destruction of the temple. King Yeshayahu speaks about Bnot Tzion, the girls that lived in Yerushalayim at that time, that did try to draw attention from the guys, from the men in the town, and he speaks very harshly about them. He says,
But they were Tzniut.
he says,
They were Tzniut.
it says kacha, Yan ki gavhu bnot Zion. Gavhu means used to go in a very straight position. ותלכת נטויות גרון.